We already covered the fact that I'm winning, so let's turn around and start from the beginning. Them bitches was laughing, them niggas was grinning. I'm fucking shit up and got all their heads spinning. You think I'ma follow, bitch, you must be tripping. I gotta hold it down for all of my women. Just look at your money, bitch, that shit is spinning on my village shit that I forgot to mention. Bitch, you hear my voice and I got your attention. What's up, best friends, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Isis.
And I'm Lola.
And we are the Zodiactwinz. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel.
And please don't forget to follow us on all platforms in the description down below.
Ooh, and Allah. Today we're going to be talking about mental health.
Specifically, ADD and ADHD.
According to a 2016 study from the CDC, about 6.1 million children from the ages 2 to 17 suffer from attention deficit hyperactive disorder, better known as ADHD.
And despite what many believes, ADHD isn't just a childhood disorder. Today, about 4% of American adults over the age of 18 deal with ADHD on a daily basis.
Now, I personally do not have ADD or ADHD, but this is still something that we need to talk about. And I know what you're thinking. Isis, if you don't deal with ADD and ADHD, then why are we talking about it? Well, the truth is, just because I don't have it does not mean I don't deal with it. Actually, I have a 9-year-old son named Santonio who suffers from severe ADD and ADHD.
I also suffer from ADD as an adult, and I'm here to shine light on the matter, and I'm speaking up for all adults.
And I'm speaking up for all the mothers who have children who suffers from ADD and ADHD, because it also affects the parents.
This video will be very informative and full of tips and tricks to help both mothers and adults try to lead a healthy life.
And with that being said, here's my disclaimer. Now that we have that out the way, let's get right into this video.
There's no other way to start this topic without actually hearing about it from the source.
Exactly, Lola. I feel like there's not enough people listening to their children. Their children should know better because they live this way every single day of their life.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
Let's interview a kid. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
What is your name?
Santonio Banks.
Santonio Banks. Okay, how old are you?
I'm 9 years old.
Okay.
And I'm about to be 10.
When is your birthday?
December 1st.
Okay. What grade are you in?
Good. Great.
Do you like school?
What school?
Any school?
No. Oh, what school?
What's fun, a homeschool or regular school?
Homeschool?
Okay. All right.
No, regular school's fun. It's more better. You can do more stuff. Like ST math, stuff like that.
Where do you live?
What's at DC?
Good job. You're doing a really, really good job. What's your favorite color?
Red, blue, yellow.
And what's your favorite food?
The food you cook.
I like that answer. Okay. So do you have any brothers and sisters?
Jesse, Powder's, Edom, Hayden. No, Hayden, my cousin. That's it.
You got a little brother?
Salma.
Okay.
I got 3. No, I got 2, because it's me, but make it 3.
Okay. So it make it 3 boys?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Do you like music?
Yeah, with music.
What type of music do you like listening to?
I don't know, like the music that everybody listens to.
And what's that? Because you know some people listen to gospel.
No.
Some people listen to rap. Some people listen to trap.
You listen to rap.
I rap.
You be listening to the rap music all the time.
I rap. Mommy rap. You like mommy raps? What's your favorite song by mommy?
Flick a ride.
That's my ENT.
No.
That's my record label. What's your favorite song by me? Winning?
Yes.
I know it.
It's okay, yeah, he was the one.
Okay. All right. So, what makes you happy, Santonio?
When you tease me and stuff like that, when you play with me.
Oh, you gotta stand back on the stool.
But you wait, come on.
Thank you. What makes you sad?
Every time I be in the house, sometimes I'll be sad because I want to go somewhere to my uncle's house, but I can't because he won't let me.
Yeah, because of the pandemic and all of that, we can't get out a lot. You miss when we used to go places. What's your favorite place would you like to go? Where is your favorite place you like to go?
Like to go?
Yeah.
That thing about Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite restaurant?
My restaurant? My favorite restaurant?
Mm-hmm.
I forget the restaurant that we was in.
Mm.
But I'm gonna name it.
Okay, what do you want to be when you grow up?
The Apple one.
Oh, the Apple restaurant?
Yeah, by Chuck E. Cheese. Is it
Applebee's?
Is it by Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
You like Applebee's?
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be just a nurse, or a doctor, or a helper.
Oh, you want to be a helper. Wow, that's amazing. You know, mommy's a helper.
Yeah. You always help people. You help people.
Okay. So, do you like your hair long or short?
Long, really long.
You like the fact that you have locks?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What is your religion?
Mama, what's that?
What's that? So who are you?
I'm Santonio.
I know you San Antonio, but what is your heritage? What is daddy?
My father.
No, like he's a
Dad to me.
He's a
Hebrew.
Yeah. So what are you?
A Hebrew.
A Hebrew what?
Israelites.
Good job. All right. What's your favorite sport?
Basketball.
Basketball? Speak up, baby. I can't hear you.
No, basketball.
Basketball your favorite sport?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now that I got an opportunity to get to know you better, let's talk about what you're dealing with right now.
Mm-hmm.
Your ADHD.
I'm gonna take all. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. How do it feel to have ADHD? It feels bad?
So bad.
Why?
Because I can't focus sometimes.
So that's ADD. You have both, right?
Mostly, yeah.
You have ADD and ADHD? So what do you mean by you can't focus?
Well, no, I can't focus. Every time I'm doing my school, I keep looking at that. I keep looking at everything, my brother, my mom, but she helped me sometimes. I keep looking at TV all the time. Because it's my ADHD. I don't know why. This keep going in.
So do you feel like you can't keep still?
No, I can't keep still now.
I see.
I keep moving like this. I can't keep still. Because it's my ADHD.
So what are the good things about having ADHD?
I don't know.
You have a lot of energy.
Yeah, I can walk fast, but I can walk slow.
So like when people finish playing, you still could play.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So
I'm learning stuff right now.
do you feel like your ADHD is holding you back? Or what do you feel is holding you back more? Your ADHD or your ADD?
ADHD.
ADHD? Okay, so what's the difference between ADHD and ADD?
ADHD, when you can't focus, and ADD is...
ADHD? And what do that do? Okay, you was right. When you got ADD, with your ADD, you can't focus. And ADHD is... Move around a lot.
Yes, move around. I always move around every time I get ADHD. I was doing this. I can't stop dancing.
You can't stop dancing. Okay, so how do you feel like you're doing in school?
Doing very good.
And what is your favorite subjects to do in school? Is it math, science, PE, music? Which ones do you like the most?
The most is...
Stand up straight there.
I like is the best because you can jump around, do some push-ups and stuff like that.
Okay, what do you feel like is the best alternative? What do you feel like is the best tool to use when your ADHD is acting up really, really bad? What gets you to, back to normal and back focusing?
Wait, look, if you just like you there right there, look,
I see it.
You take that, you hold it, then to make you focus, you just gotta hold it and just go bring it back to normal. If you play with it, bring it back to normal.
Okay. So thank you so much, Antonio, for taking the time out to do this interview with Mommy. And I want to let you know that ADHD and ADD, it might be something that you struggle with. Listen to me. It might be something that you struggle with. Listen to me. Listen. It might be something that you struggle with, Tony, but it makes you who you are. And Mommy love you even with your ADD and ADHD because it gives you so much energy so you can play with Mommy for a long time.
I can't play with Mommy.
You can. You can play with me longer than anybody because you got so much energy.
Longer
and then
than,
it gives you this,
and
it gives you this amazing energy that I like, okay? It gives you all of this swag that you got. And you wouldn't have none of that if you wasn't born the way you born. And I love you just the way you are, okay? All right? You done? We good?
No, I'm not good.
You want some more? Want me to ask you more questions?
Yeah, more. And then we're going to come back. Then we can do the more.
Well, can you do me a favor?
Yes.
Can you do a dance for me?
What contest?
Do the thing where you do like this in between your legs.
The slows?
Yeah. Hey, get it, Tony. Get it, Tony. Get it, Tony. And do this one.
What's that?
The dance you be doing like this. Get it, Tony. Hey. Get it, man. Get it, man. Get it. Get it. Hey. Now do the Dougie.
What Dougie?
Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to. Hey. 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 They ain't ready for your Dougie, Tony. Yes. All right. That's the wrap. Let's go.
Good. What? I missed that. Oh,
you missed it. What is ADHD? ADHD is a chronic condition, including attention difficulty, hyperactivity, and impulsiveness.
ADHD often begins in childhood and can persist into adulthood. It may contribute to low self-esteem, troubled relationships, and difficulty at school or work.
What is the difference between ADD and ADHD? They are both classified as ADHD. ADD is an outdated term that once stood for attention deficit disorder. It was separated from ADHD because of the hyperactivity.
How is ADHD diagnosed? Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, can't be diagnosed with a physical test like a blood test or an X-ray. Instead, a health professional uses an evaluation process to diagnose ADHD.
During the evaluation, a professional gathers information about you or your child. It is called the DMS. The official diagnostic guide that is given in the USA.
What are the symptoms? First symptom, behavioral. Aggression, excitability, fidgeting, hyperactivity, impulsivity, irritability. Lack of restraint for persistent repetition of words or actions. Second symptom, cognitive. Absent-mindedness, difficulty focusing, forgetfulness, problem paying attention, or short attention span. And last symptom, mood. Anger, anxiety, boredom, excitement, or mood swings.
See, that sounds like a lot, though.
It's a lot.
But the question is, and this is the question that I'm pretty sure everybody wants to know, is there a cure? Well, the answer to that question is no. There is no known cure for it. But there are a lot of treatment plans and medications that you can take for it.
Through therapies and or medication.
You get the result that you want and need to help make a better life for a child or an adult that's living with ADHD. What kind of medication can be used to treat ADHD? There are about 5 different medications that you can use to help treat ADHD. 2 of those medications are called Adderall and Ritalin. I'm about to interview Lola, and we're gonna get some of the answers that you need as an adult to figure out, do I too suffer from ADHD? Because a lot of adults are misdiagnosed. A lot of people go throughout their whole life and never have a diagnosis, but they sit back and say, oh, what's wrong with me? Is there anything wrong with me? So if we can help you in any way, shape, or form, we're going to do just that. And for those adults that's suffering with ADD and ADHD, we're going to try to give you some tips and some tricks to help you deal with it on a day-to-day basis to make your life a little bit easier. Lola, I understand that you're on the ADD spectrum, correct?
Yes.
So you don't suffer from the hyperactivity?
No.
So what's the worst part about growing up with ADD?
I would say being held accountable for things that you can't control, but you're supposed to be able to control it. Sort of like taking out the chicken before mama get home from work. Forgot all the time. Can't remember. Saved my life. Take it out 2 minutes before she get out. Why is it still frozen?
So is it like something that distracts you from what you had to do, or you just all around forget when you get instructions?
It's more like when you get the instruction, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this. But then you'll find something that's just a tad bit more interesting than what you were supposed to do. And whatever you thought about that you was going to do just goes out the window. It's more like seeing like a shiny coin. It's like, oh yeah, I got to save my friend. Ooh, shiny, what's that? Like that.
As far as your school years, was it hard having ADHD and being in school? And what was the worst grade? Like grade school, college, elementary, middle? What was the hardest?
High school. Because there was no child left behind. It's just focusing, trying to keep up with the class. And, you have intentions of trying to keep up with the class, and sometimes you do, but then again you get distracted very quickly. And once you get distracted, it's kind of hard to regain that concentration and still be on track. So whenever I regained my concentration, I was never on track. I was just behind because of basically the fact I can't stay focused.
Right. So what are some of the things that you did growing up that helped you better get through school and your classes and just your day-to-day life coming up with ADD?
Ask questions. A lot of times people who suffer from ADD, ADHD, they're so afraid to ask or repeat something. Repeat something, you know. We usually, like, if you ask me something or say something to me, I'll ask you to repeat it. If I ask you the second time, normally with a person who has ADD, who goes through it, doesn't really want to like shine light on it, they'll hear it the second time, probably still don't understand or still get in what you're saying and be like, okay. And because they don't want to ask again, because they don't want to seem like a burden, or they don't want to seem like they're badgering you. But it's because they want to be repeated something, and they want confirmation. It's more so confirmation. So if someone comes to you and be like, okay, you said I can use your lighter, right? Okay, I'm touching your lighter. I'm just letting you know, can I use your lighter? And even though you said yes the first time, to them, they just want to hear that one more time in order for them to confirm the fact that they can make this action.
And as a mother of a child with ADD and ADHD, I completely understand. Because if I be like, Santonio, go check the mailbox, he'll say, go check the mailbox.
Yeah.
You know, so he definitely wants confirmation, you know.
Yeah. It's a lot about confirmation. It's a lot about basically not trying to beat yourself up also as well, being with ADD, because again, we can forget things. And sometimes, you know, you'll have like a list of things to do, and in your mind you're like, okay, I got this list of things to do. You haven't memorize to the T, but there's something that's going to distract you. And then when you disappoint the person or disappoint a situation, you beat yourself up about it.
Right.
Whereas and it's really different with us because we beat ourselves up 2 times hard because we're expected to be normal. We're expected to retain information and be able to do what we have to do, but we can't do it. And people expect that out of us. So it's like, I got a big weight on my shoulders.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm trying to show people that I can do this, but then I keep having these little freaking moments where my ADD kick in and I let someone down, or I let myself down or something like that. So it's like 2 times the beating.
Right.
On yourself.
I completely understand.
A mother of 2 children, one 9 and one 13. How do you manage having 2 kids with ADHD?
I manage. So, for the longest time, it took a long time with my teenager, because she only suffers from ADD, for the school system to pick up on what was going on with her. They just thought she wasn't doing enough. They just thought that she wasn't paying enough attention. And that wasn't the case at all. I always knew that it was something different about the way that she learned, but no one else seen it in my eyes. That's why I took the necessary step that I took to put them in homeschooling, so that I can actually be able to pinpoint everything that's going on during her learning process and give the information to the right people that needed it and get her IEP back. As far as my son, he suffers severely from ADD and ADHD, so that can be very tough. Not only am I dealing with the fact that he just can't keep still, it's almost like his brain itch to get up and run around, but he also suffers from not being able to focus and pay attention. So he has both. It's very, very hard. But I've learned throughout the years how to cope with it.
Okay, and as far as homeschooling, how do you basically put yourself in a position where you can be able to take care of 2 ADHD kids, doing schoolwork at the same time, 2 different grades? Like, your brain must be like, goo. I mean,
it's a lot of dedication. It's a lot of consideration, and it's a whole lot of understanding. You got to be able to put yourself in your own kid's shoes at times and be able to look at it from their point of view, suffering with these things. That's the way that I make it through every lesson. But being as though they're homeschooled, it's a lot better because I get to, you know, do certain things that's not allowed in school to keep them focused, actually. So with my daughter, not only is she ADD, but she's an introvert. So she likes to learn alone in her own environment, which helps me a lot because then I get to take my time out and focus a little bit more on San Antonio, which is the one who suffers from flow. So yeah, I make it happen by having a lot of patience. Patience is the key to being a mother with a kid that suffers from the slightest bit of ADHD. Patience.
Okay. All right. So in between the day-to-day life, school life, and things of other around that nature, how do they basically go throughout the day? Is it like complicated for them? Do you sense a lot of like loneliness from one of them, or do you like, what do you get from them, like as far as emotional wise? Can you communicate with them?
So I taught them at a young age, apart from their mental disabilities, how to communicate. Communication is actually key when it comes to a relationship of any kind with your children. But I find that it's harder when it comes to my teenager because her focus, like I can say, Paradise, go wash the dishes, go take out the trash, and go read a book. She probably do 1 out of 2. So the thing is being able to take your time when it comes to giving direction, because you don't never want to make your child, especially if they're a teenager, feel like they're less than or they're dumb or slow or anything like that. So you really got to be like, okay, do this, and then have them come back to you, then do this. You got to give them 1-2-step instructions. And then far as my 9-year-old, oh, he's all over the place. But that's absolutely fine with me as long as he's got his work and stuff done. Just keeping him still and keeping him out of stuff and out of trouble My biggest issue with him is him harming himself. His ADHD is so severe that sometimes he can harm himself. He had got stitches by his eye. He almost lost his eye. He got stitches in his head that almost took his life. You know, that's just that's what ADHD do. Like, they don't mean to do this, but they just do it. They can't sit down. So you got to do a whole rack of redirecting their attention and their energy to something else. If not, it's going to be trouble.
That is true. That's very much true. So far as personality-wise and energy, how can you describe each of their energy personality-wise?
Well, it's just like, it's night and day. Because Paradise is like a downer. She's calm. You know, she got her little mixed mood. She's not all over the place. And then you got Santonio, who's like lit, turned up. So I always say that he's my child that got all the swag. And a lot of that has to do with his ADHD. It's not hindering it as much as you think it is, because it's actually making that child who they are. Right. So she has trouble paying attention. You get what I'm saying? Right. So for that reason, she tends to like be to herself because she don't want nobody to spot it. Just like what you said you went through growing up. She don't want nobody to pay attention to her. Right. Or to pay attention to what she can't pay attention to. You get what I'm saying? Right. So yeah, it kind of their personalities, a lot of that has to do with ADHD. And they and night. Completely different people. But I love it. I love it. I love who it made them become.
Well, it's great that you do love them. But there's a question. For my last question. No one really shines light on the parents themselves. How are you emotionally, like, period, how are you emotionally dealing with two kids who have ADHD? How did you feel when you found out? Like, what was going through your mind?
When I first found out, it was like a stab in my heart. Because any mother who has a child with any type of mental disability or physical disability, you ask yourself, what did I do wrong? How did I allow this to happen? How could I have prevented this from happening? But at the end of the day, you don't have the answers to any of those. So what I did was, I talked to the right people. I allowed myself to accept their situation, because then you have the part of the diagnosis where you're shut off. Like, you're in denial, 100%. No, not my baby. You know, you go through that stage. So I had to sit back and allow myself to get the information needed to help my children lead a happy life, mentally and physically. So basically, I was going through it, but now that I know what to do, I actually got the tools to help other people. Now that I'm at that point, I'm completely happy with who they are now, because I know exactly how to deal with them. And it took a whole lot of research, patience, and like you said earlier, asking questions and not being afraid of the answers and accepting it. That got me to the point where I am now.
Well, since you're at the point that you are now, you have gained all these magical tools. Would you like to share to our best friends, what tools can you give them and tips that you can give them that can help them with a child that has ADHD or ADD?
I sure can. As a matter of fact, not only can I tell you in tools and tell you tricks that will help you with your child, but I can show you. Ready, Lola?
Ready.
Let's go.
Okay, as I said before, ask questions. Second of all, you may tend to get angry and to the point where you're not angry at the person, but you're angry at yourself. So you reflected on that person. Take that time before saying anything to think about what you're going to say. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure you have the proof behind it. Make sure that you have what you did wrong and understand what you did wrong, and tell them what they did wrong, and let them understand to the best of your ability how they did you wrong. And just be open. Like, you're not alone. There's people out here that looks almost as regular as the next person, but they're suffering from the same thing you're suffering from, and you're not gonna know until you talk to them. So be more open. Try to listen and and take the information and then say something before just hauling off and saying something, because your aggressiveness and your anger and all your anxiety, all of that could like warp into one big chaotic mess, and it could turn a conversation south real quick.
Without them having to understand.
Yeah, and then nothing gets across.
Pay attention to your child's surroundings. Pay attention and see if there's anything around him that is bothering him or that is distracting him. Eliminate the distractions. But don't irritate your child, because that can cause it to be worse, especially if he's having an ADHD attack. Antonio, we're going to turn the TV off, okay? Alright, you fine with that? Because we want you to focus. Alright. Simply open a line of communication with your child. Ask him what it is that's bothering him. Remember, you two are a team. You're supposed to work together so that you can achieve your goal. Antonio, why are you frustrated?
I can't focus.
Okay. So, he says that he can't focus. So now, you have to find other alternatives to keep him on the right path when it comes to learning. Try a reinforcement. For example, Antonio.
Yeah.
Here you go. Try giving him something to play with, like a fidget spinner or a pencil or something that he can play with as he learns, especially when he's learning a lesson. Like say for instance, the teacher is talking to him at the moment and he's trying to pay attention to what she's saying. Give him something to fiddle with in his hands, and that will help and make a huge difference. Do you feel a little better? Okay.
Whoa.
Along with opening a line of good communication with your child, simply let him get up. When a child suffers from severe ADHD, sometimes you can just let the kid stand up and learn, and that makes a huge difference. For example, Santonio, why are you rocking? Would you like to stand up? Simply stand the child up. And safely remove his chair. No, put it back down. Put it back down. Did all 5 steps. You opened the line of communication, you gave him positive reinforcements, you stood him up, and he still isn't focusing. Try positive distractions. That is tip number 6. Sometimes, what I like to do with my son is, I play Mozart or I play instrumental music because my son loves music. Now let's try that alternative and see if it works. Now your son is on the road. He listened to all the tips, you did all the reinforcements, and everything is going great. But the positive reinforcements amped him up a little bit. Now he's getting it. He's having a little too much fun. He can't take it anymore. This is my final tip and trick. And this is one of the most important tips and tricks that I find in my day-to-day life teacher my son that works the best, and that's simply letting your child get a break. That's one of the best tips that you can give your child. Santonio.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to take a break?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Go ahead and take a break and eat a snack. Wow, it's been a whole hour. You followed all the tips and tricks that I showed you. And look, blissfulness. Now, with a child that suffers from ADD and ADHD, it is not easy. As a parent of 2 children, believe me, I completely understand. It can be very hard, but you have to have patience with your children, and communication is everything. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot punish or beat your child into getting it, because it's not something that he's doing on purpose. It's just simply the way their mind works, okay? I try my best to do any and everything except for give my child medication, but some cases are so severe that you might just have to put your child on medication. And guess what? That's perfectly fine. Remember, as a mother, there's nothing you did wrong. There's nothing you did to deserve this. Them are all the thoughts that I had that weighed me down in the beginning of this journey. When I first was getting my son diagnosed, it is not your fault. If he has to take medication, that's fine. At the end of the day, the goal is what matters to the child and what works best for the child, okay? And with that being said, those are my tips and my tricks for you. On a serious note, this is my son, Santonio. His name is Santonio Banks. He's 9 years old. He suffers from severe ADD and ADHD. I just wanted to get this message out to all the mothers and adults and teens and children who suffers from this or who has a child who deals with this. This is very, very serious, and I feel like there needs to be a brighter light shined on this situation. My son is amazing. He gets in trouble, but not in a way that he's fighting and beating up kids. Don't look at kids that suffer from ADD and ADHD as a bad thing. They cannot help the way they are, and sometimes they just need positive reinforcements and patience. It takes a lot of patience, and I'm here to tell all the mothers out there, I'm here with you. You can inbox me, you can email me, whatever you have to do if your child is going through that situation. I've been dealing with it with not 1, but 2 children, so I know how it is, honestly. He is one of the best things that ever happened to me, come into my life. And yes, it gets hard at times, but we're in this together. They are frustrated. Your children are just as frustrated as you are when it comes to ADHD. They're frustrated. They don't want to be the way they are, but you have to let them know that they're just fine for being exactly who they are. This is not a hindrance. This is what makes them the amazing child that they are. And the fact that you can deal with it makes you the amazing parent that you are. Mother or father. I know single fathers who deal with this as well. I know parents that has ADHD, ADD with children that have ADD and ADHD. And I'm here to let y'all know y'all are not alone. This is an important topic that needs to be talked about way more. And I'm here to do that. That's what this channel is all about. We're shedding light on depression, anger issues, ADHD, bipolar, all of that, because this is what people need to hear. Yes, we may joke. Yes, we may play, but we're using our platform for more than just jokes and laughs. I want y'all to understand that this is a serious matter. And I don't want to offend anybody by making jokes in between time, because guess what? It's all about laughing at our pain. We are in this together. That's exactly why I call you guys my best friends. Me and Lola started this channel so that we can change lives, not just, you know, be the stars. We really want to impact people, and we're doing the best that we can with what we know how at the moment. But we will grow, we will get bigger, and we will get better. So with that being said, I want y'all to meet someone.
Hi, my name is Antonio. I got ADHD.
Oh my gosh!
Ooh, that was a trip.
That was a trip.
I took it wrong. That was
Man, that was a whole lot of information, a whole lot of, but we did that seriously so that we can shine a light for children and adults that suffer from ADD and ADHD. It is not a joke. It is kids that go through stuff every single day, and as an adult, you know.
And it's not a secret, so don't make it one. Let it out. Be proud of who you are. You are unique in your own way. Be awesome.
And let me tell you something. Come here, a little bit closer. I suffer from something called obsessive compulsive disorder. But we'll talk about that in the next video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
And please, please, please don't forget to follow us on all platforms in the description down below.
Ooh, and I lie. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
You know you love what you see, cause we a vibe.
And don't forget to hit that bell.
And join the team, cause you know we lit as hell.
Go ahead and join us, only $4.99.
Get exclusive, take our bloopers, we on fire.
You wanna know what we doing next time?
Come take a look at our preview, we about to shine.
Next time on the Zodiac Twins.